Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another update overview for The Sims 4. This one is for January 2026. Before we get into the actual contents of this update though, there is something else I wanted to mention. I already talked about it on my Blue Sky account a few days ago, but I also wanted to mention it here because the announcement is imminent for the next expansion pack, Royalty and Legacy. I will not be covering the official promo materials for this expansion pack, whether that be the trailers, blog posts, live streams, Discord Q&As, etc. Because when I left the EA Creator Network, I mentioned that I'm not going to be covering any more of the new paid DLC and just be covering free content and doing videos with the content that I already have. The only reasons the expansion pack was even brought up in a couple of my recent videos is because it was just a rumor and it was tying into the end of The Sims 4 as we know it. So I felt it was pretty important to bring up. And it also tied into that scrapped free African world that we were apparently going to get. That's a huge bummer that we are not actually going to have that in the end. And same thing with the SpongeBob kits almost, because we were getting free content related to SpongeBob anyways, but I decided not to buy those kits or review them, and I haven't done that with any of the DLC post-Adventure Awaits. I'm absolutely no stranger to doing different games on my channel besides The Sims, but you may have noticed more of that recently, like with the couple of videos I did on Utterly Lost, of course all the videos I've been doing on Paralives, Animal Crossing, I did a video on that, and I will be doing another on the January 15th update. That's so funny, it happens to release on my birthday, and I think The Sims is trying to steal some of its thunder because they're announcing the expansion pack on the same day. What a jerk move, but there's also Star Sand Island. I'm very excited for this game. There's a free demo that's playable on Steam right now, and then it's going to go into early access on February 1st. And there's a shocking amount of content, even in just the demo. If you like The Sims, there's a pretty high chance you're going to like this game. And if you like a lot of cozy games like Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, My Time at Portia, which, hey, they're actually doing a collab with My Time at Portia, then I think there's an extremely high chance you'll like this game. Look, you can even build on a houseboat! Like, oh my goodness. Like, that was probably the most surprising thing that I saw when I first started learning about this game recently. It even has a build mode that works kind of similar to The Sims, where you're actually building the walls and the floors and all that, though it does work with more of a block system than drawing stuff out. So it does still take some getting used to, but it's also very flexible and you can do a lot of things with it. So I already uploaded one video of the demo, but I still want to upload one more because I still don't feel like I've done this game justice yet. And you're probably going to hear a lot more about this game on my channel in the future. But there we go, just a little channel update squeezed in here. So without further ado, let's talk about this new update. We got a collab with Coach. I was not expecting that. What I was also not expecting is that it's actually not bad. When it comes to collabs like this, there's usually English text all over the place, which I feel when you have too much of it breaks the immersion and kind of goes against the setting of The Sims with its Simlish language and all that. But most of the items that have English text also have swatches with a Simlish variant, so that's really cool that Coach was okay with that. So starting off with the feminine items here, we have this new jacket. I think it's pretty nice. It's got some good swatches. Interesting, that last one has more of a, I don't know how you'd say, like a glossy, shiny effect compared to the other ones. Then we got this sweater, and here you will see the direct comparison between the English and Simlish variants. So it starts off with the Simlish ones, and then the English ones are at the end. In a second here, you will see me flip between the English and Simlish variants of one particular one. So yeah, there we go. Simlish, English, Simlish. So that is good that they kept true to the original design, even with the Simlish variants. Next, we got a t-shirt with various designs. Again, they have the Simlish ones at the beginning and the English ones at the end. Not really much for me to say here. I mean, I've heard of the brand Coach, but I've never been like a fan of it per se. But it is nice that they've labeled the items, like the thumbnails, with Coach, so they are a lot easier to find. Because sometimes it is hard to find the new free content since it's all lumped under the base game tag. Moving on to bottoms, we have this skirt. I like the little details at the top, though I do wish they weren't as flat looking, but we do have swatches that match with that first jacket we looked at. And we also have a pair of loose fitted jeans. I think these look really nice as well. I like the textures that they have, and I like the pattern of the pockets of the first one, but I do find it strange with both the skirt and these jeans. There's some distortion around the butt, like as if it's caving in a little bit. It's not a huge deal to me, but it is something I noticed right away when I put them on. There is also a pair of sneakers. That's great. New sneakers that are base game, available for everyone, is always a good thing, in my opinion. And I think these look pretty good, though it is worth noting that there is the letter C on these swatches, so it is technically English. It's one letter, so it's not a huge deal to me compared to like having entire words, but worth pointing out. It is still something that could lead me to using these sneakers less than at least most of the others in the game. For masculine, they have almost the same selection, minus the first feminine jacket, as well as the skirt. To summarize my overall thoughts on the Create a Sim portion of the Coach collab, the most surprising thing is that I don't hate it, because most of the time, The Sims does collabs with these brands. They just do not go well. But yeah, there's the occasional exception, like with The Sims 2, H&M and IKEA. Those are things that I think they did pretty well. But yeah, I might actually use some of these items a decent amount, especially the jeans, the skirts, and that feminine jacket. Now for the build by items, I think the easiest way to find them all is to just type Coach into the search bar and search by that word. So yeah, we got 2 different purses and a costume trunk that works pretty similarly to the one in the Lovestruck expansion. The one on the left I'm a little disappointed with because we have the Coach branding, but there's no Simlish variant. The other one, I guess, isn't too bad because, like, with the sneakers, it's just the letter C. But yeah, it looks nice otherwise. But with the costume trunk, thankfully, they did include English and Simlish variants. So there you can see all the interactions. But they did add 3 new ones where you change into Coach-themed outfits that are meant to match with different emotions. So there's confident, flirty, and playful. I suppose it is an easy way of putting on some Coach-themed outfits without having to hop into Create a Sim. And I guess this update also means that the costume trunk is base game compatible. Really, I didn't think it was that amazing of an item in Lovestruck. Anyways, that's pretty much it in terms of the new content. I'll have a link to the patch notes in the video description below if you want to go over all the fixes. I went over them in the laundry list video that I did recently, but there are some highlights, like now the lump of clay does provide creativity skill gain for children. The stack of books object from Cats and Dogs works as a bookshelf. They fixed a couple instances of save corruption. They recategorized a whole bunch of items both in Create a Sim and build modes. They also did a couple fixes with the gallery, as well as in-game photos. Also, for the first time, they have this changelog for modders section that goes into more specific details about what they changed with fixes so that it is easier for modders to know what they need to check for when updating their mods. So that seems pretty handy. I'm not a modder myself, but it does seem useful. Hopefully they keep doing that in the future. I'll wrap up this video here, so feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, what you think of this update, and be sure to subscribe if you'd like to keep up with my latest gaming content. I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!